anything can be addictive. Just because whether it has nicotine or it doesn't have nicotine. You said biting your nails is addictive. There's no nicotine in your nails, but they're addictive. It's addictive. That habit can be addictive.
Yeah, I used to bite my nails forever.
You know, there's no
Cuban cigars are rolled on the naked thighs of virgins.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Yeah, that's not the case.
That's not true.
That's a marketing ploy.
That is not.
You know, and so you just fucking yawn.
I did yawn, dude.
Jeez.
How can a fucking 1-month-old, man? Last night was not a good one.
Last night was a rough night.
Last night was a rough one.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the good old Burn Down podcast. We're approaching 300 episodes here. I think this is like episode 289, 290. We're getting there. We got to do something for the 300. We got to think of that. But I'm Eric, a.k.a. Brother Cigar. My co-host across the way is Justin, a.k.a. Dapper Cigar.
I'm your co-host.
And we are the Burn Down podcast. We are the Billy Dilly boys, Blueprint and Diligent.
The Billy Dilly boy. Well, it's fun. It's like we've just came up with the nickname of, I don't know when it started. I started calling them Billy and Dillies.
Well, it makes sense.
Blueprints are Billies and Diligents are Dillies.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you smoking? I'm smoking a Billy.
We're smoking a
What
fucking
about a Dilly? Billies and Dillies or Dillies and Billies?
That's it, bro.
Dillies on deck. Billies for the boys.
Billy's for the boys. Dilly's on deck. We can come up with a lot of different, little...
Literally,
sayings.
hashtag Dillies on deck.
Dilly's on deck.
Dillies on deck. Billies for the boys.
Well, today we're going to switch it up a bit. We're not going to smoke any Billies or Dillies, Blueprints or Diligents. We have the new
This
Amazon...
is a gift.
Yeah,
This is
so
a
the
gift.
CAO Amazon Basin, I guess it's like a new blend that they came out with, or a newer
No,
version?
it's the new release of it. They came out with this a while ago.
Yeah, what's new about it?
I don't know what's new, but this is
It's just a new release of
I
it?
guess it's the most recent year,
All right.
but I don't know if it's new or not. But
Shout out to our partners and our online cigar partner, Flying Cigars. Shout out to those guys out in Arizona. They are online facility with the Blueprint and the Diligent, as well as GetYourCigars.com. But Kelly from FlyingCigars.com has sent us some cigars, and I haven't smoked the Amazon Basin in a while. He sent us these two. He said, "You want some?" I said, "Sure." And we haven't smoked really anything besides the Blueprint and the Diligent, unless we have a guest who has their own cigar in a while.
Yeah, maybe the Cigar Clown.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Unless we have a guest who has their own cigars, and last time was from Cigar Clown. So, Justin, here is Amazon Basin.
Bus. Did you ever see that guy when he has the this guy who works in? I'll pull it up.
And
Just
what's the specs on the cigar again? This is
This is weird how I know this. They have a rare leaf in here called the Braganca leaf.
That's right, the Braganca leaf. That's what I was looking for. The Braganca.
What the heck is that guy's name?
What's he say?
He's like opening up a I don't know what it is, but it's like a snack. He works at like a convenience store, and he's like, "Yo, I'm about to make this snack real good. Yo, I'm gonna eat this fast. You can say I'm on Pia, Bussa." You ever see that guy?
No. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. But a lot of people say Bussa.
Onomatopoeia, and then I'm gonna say.
All right. Well, Justin digresses as per usual and looks up other things on his phone. Today we are gonna talk about. I wanted to get back to some of the basics, some of the good episodes that we get a lot of good feedback on. And today's episode
Doesn't matter.
We're gonna discuss the common misconceptions and the stereotypes around cigars.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot of people that listen and watch us enjoy cigars. Not everybody, but we don't, people look at us as a cigar podcast, but we are just a podcast that brings people together over a cigar. One episode, one cigar at a time. So this is going to be a good topic. We've done this a few times over the years. We're approaching 6 years. So let's see. At one point, we'll be 300 episodes, right? So where are we at right now? Oh, wow. Okay, just way to be disrespectful and just throw that shit at me.
Yeah, look at that, though. Look at the way that it landed. It's perfect, bro.
Man, disrespectful, yo.
Yeah.
So this is 285, 286. So this week will be 287. All right, so if this week is 287, 288, 289, 290, 291, 292, 293, 294, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. So it should be May 23rd
is 300?
Is 300 episodes.
3 bills.
Yeah.
3 Benjamin Franklins.
Dude, 300 episodes, bro.
3 bills, baby.
I mean, that's a lot.
3 hundo.
$300, 3 bands, 3 boxes of ZD.
3 Benjis.
And that's pretty impressive. So we want to make it all the way to 300. But as we said, we're smoking the Amazon
3
basin.
beans. The bean goes on the outside.
So what's a misconception or a stereotype that you commonly see with cigars here?
That common misconception is that it's only for men.
Okay.
Okay, that's like it's an old thing. It's for everybody, men and women, adults, men and women. Another one is that it's for like it's only for the rich and wealthy.
Yeah, like
and that was another old stereotype.
Yeah.
Which back in the day was, and I'm talking like way back, was probably true because you couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Like if you weren't rich and wealthy, you couldn't afford cigars.
Yeah, you weren't trying to buy cigars as something that you were trying to.
But now the price of cigars, it's a luxury that everybody can enjoy.
Yes.
Because you can get a cigar for $5-6, and enjoy the stick. You don't have to be a millionaire to smoke cigars.
Thank God, because we wouldn't have a podcast if it was. So I did a couple chat GBTs, right? And I wanted to see what chat GBT thought of this. So they said here was the first one you said. It's for the older, wealthier men. The misconception cigar smoking is often portrayed as a pastime for older, affluent white men, they specifically put.
Really?
White men. Good old whites. And the reality is the modern community is diverse with enthusiasts spanning different ages, genders, ethnic backgrounds, and socioeconomic statuses, which I would put a little ding, would agree with. Yeah, I mean, we meet people from all different walks of life, and that's another concept of our podcast here for people who are just starting to tune in and listen and watch. Doesn't matter about your background, doesn't matter about your race, creed, age, occupation.
That's my credo.
Yeah, that's your credo, son. So as long as you like a cigar, that's why we're here. And we've interviewed hundreds of people with all different backgrounds and got to know some very interesting people, and that's what makes this podcast exciting.
I got another myth.
What do you got?
Or a common misconception is that all Connecticut cigars are mild.
Great one.
That's a big misconception.
So Connecticut wrapped cigars.
Yes, just because it's the
lighter leaf.
Just because it looks lighter doesn't mean that it is lighter.
Now, what cigars come to mind when you think of those?
The Padron Damaso.
Oh.
Okay, it's a Connecticut cigar, but it's still Nicaraguan Puro or still Nicaraguan fillers, so it does pack a punch. Now there are ones that
I think of the Drew Estate Undercrown Shade.
Yes, there's another one.
Right?
Or what about even like Diligent. The Diligent is not a very mild cigar. It's milder than the Blueprint.
Yes.
It's mild medium, but it's not full mild the whole way, and it's certainly not mild body. So another thing is a lot of people confuse, big misconception is strength and body are the same thing.
They are not.
It's not. So you can have, the biggest thing is the body of a cigar is the weight of the smoke in your mouth. Okay? So you can have, like when you pull the smoke in, how does it fill up your mouth? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel like thick, the smoke? That would be a full body. But the strength could be very mellow, right? You can have you can have lots of smoke, but it doesn't have a whole lot of pepper. It's a very mellow flavored cigar, but it still has a big smoke output, big body to it. And you can have you can have the opposite. You can have a very light body where you don't really get a whole lot of smoke, but it's very peppery and it's strong. You have a nice strong aftertaste. So that's a big misconception. Everybody says, "Oh, the strength and the body are the same thing." They're not.
Yeah, the Diligent, quick plug. The wrapper is Ecuadorian, Connecticut. The binder is Ecuadorian, and then the filler is Dominican and USA, Connecticut. So yes, it is lighter, but you still have some features in there that are a little bit more of a oomph that necessarily won't be a true mild, true Connecticut cigar.
I would say another, I don't know if this is a misconception or not, but just because it's the same, so I have two actually that come to mind. Just because it's the same cigar, okay, doesn't like in two different sizes doesn't mean they're going to taste the same. Everybody thinks, oh, it's the same cigar. Doesn't matter what size they get, it's still going to taste like that cigar. That's not true. That's not true. The size of a cigar affects the flavor of the cigar. And the reason being is if you have two cigars, the same exact blend, you have one that, let's say it's a Toro, right? It's a let's say it's a 6x52, 6x52. And then you have another one that's a Lancero that, let's say it's a 6x38. So it's the same length cigar, but the Lancero is much thinner
skinny,
and the Toro is much thicker. They're going to taste different because the thicker cigar has more filler to it than the wrapper, whereas the Lancero is going to be more wrapper dominant than the filler because there's not as much filler in there.
Yeah.
So it's the same exact cigar, same blend, same tobacco, same everything.
Different amount.
It's just going to have different ratios of filler to binder to wrapper, so your flavor is going to be different. It's the same thing as if, okay, I look at it. Let's say you have, you're making a recipe, okay, and you're making cookies. You're making chocolate chip cookies, okay. Let's say you're making oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. Okay, oatmeal chocolate chip. Same exact recipe. Except one, you throw in, you're going to have way more chocolate chips than oatmeal. And then the other one, you have less chocolate chips but the same oatmeal. They're going to taste different because the one that's got way more chocolate compared to oatmeal is going to be much more of a chocolatey cigar, a chocolatey cookie, versus the one that's a smaller cookie, so it doesn't have as many chocolate chips, but it's the same amount of oatmeal, and it's going to be more oatmeal dominant. So it's the same thing. It's the same recipe, same exact recipe, except one contains more oatmeal than chocolate chip.
Different amounts of
the same exact ingredients.
Yeah.
So that's why different sizes don't always taste the same.
Here's one.
And the other one,
remember
I said I had two. The other one is just because it's a bigger cigar, a bigger ring gauge, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to have a better draw. Some people think that, like, big 6x60, I'm going to have a better draw than a Lancero. It's not the case because the 6x60 could be packed very tightly versus a Lancero or maybe one that's like a Robusto. It's like a 5x50. It's not packed as tightly. It might be looser. Because I've had cigars, especially Cubans, that are 54 ring, and I feel like you can't get anything out of it.
It's like a golf ball through a garden hose.
But then I have, so perfect example, have a Cuban cigar that is 5x54, just like ours are, versus our cigar 5x54, which is a better draw. Our cigar, it's the same 54 ring, but ours has a better draw. It's not packed as tightly.
Phenomenal.
It's different tobacco.
Phenomenal
Just
draw.
because it's the same ring or a bigger ring or small, the draw is not necessarily going to be the same. It all depends on who made it, how it was rolled, how tightly it was packed.
And just because, I guess you can add this to the list, just because you had a Amazon basin that was very tight draw doesn't mean the next one you smoke will be a very tight draw, because premium cigars are all hand rolled.
No two cigars are exactly the same.
Exactly. So there will be a hand roller that will put more tobacco in one other cigar by a smidge, and that might make it a little bit tighter, as opposed to someone else who puts a little bit less and makes it more of an even draw, even though there's certain standards that they're supposed to be making it. But there's always human error involved. This is one that I guess I don't really think too much. I guess it's out there, but you don't really think about it, is that cigar smoking is a solitary and isolated habit.
Habit?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's I mean, because...
Well, that's what
first off, let's break it down. The first thing is isolated, solitary. No, you can enjoy it by yourself.
It's I don't know why that would even be a misconception or
you can. So that's part truth, but habit, anything can be a habit.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's like, oh well, it has. Everybody thinks that it just has to be, like involve nicotine for it to be addictive. There's no nicotine in cell phones, but they're addictive.
Good point.
You know what I'm saying? That's a habit. Scrolling is a habit. Stunting is a habit.
Stunting is a habit. Get like me.
Scrolling is a habit. Getting on your phone, or like first when you're watching a movie, right? You're watching a movie. Commercial comes on. It's the first thing you do.
Grab that
pick up your phone and you scroll. It's a habit.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's just like biting your nails. Is a habit. There's no nicotine in your nails. It's just an action that becomes comforting, and it
And,
becomes a habit.
so
And it can be a habit.
But in a habit of it, in the essence of it's something that you like to do every day, every week, it's not really a negative connotation to it. You know what I mean? And everything with nicotine, just because it has nicotine in it, doesn't make it addictive. It can be addictive.
But then again, anything can be addictive.
Anything can be addictive, but the misconception with cigars and cigarettes, they're both with nicotine, they're both with this, they're both with that. Cigars have nicotine only, right? So
No.
there's nicotine in
But it's not nicotine only.
nicotine in the sense of comparing to cigarettes, where it's thousands of carcinogens, chemicals,
that also add to the addictiveness.
nasty ass shite. Because a cigar is what? It's tobacco.
It's tobacco and vegetable glue, which actually this one doesn't even have.
So this is just straight up tobacco.
Right. So, but there's inherently nicotine in tobacco.
Yeah.
But to go back to your point, anything can be addictive. They said, "Oh, you're smoking. That's such a bad habit, or such an addictive."
Yeah.
Like, well, it's not.
Because we've done a lot of
For
research and a lot of
cigars.
studies, right? And we always do the comparison between cigarettes and cigars. And people are saying, oh, cigars can be addictive because there's nicotine in it. But are there really... I've never really found any substantial studies that show that cigars can be addictive just because of the nicotine aspect of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because I go back to the point of anything can be addictive, just because whether it has nicotine or it doesn't have nicotine. You said biting your nails is addictive. There's no nicotine in your nails, but they're addictive. It's addictive. That habit can be addictive.
Yeah, I used to bite my nails forever. For a long
there's
time.
so just because it has nicotine doesn't mean that that is going to be addictive, right? Because cigars have nicotine. I'm not addicted to cigars.
No.
I've had some time
As a true what's the word? As a true addict would say, I'm not addicted to it.
but I've
I
gone weeks without smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
I've gone like 2 weeks, 3 weeks without smoking a cigar.
Same, and you're fine.
And it's like, and I would say it to you. I would call me like, yeah, listen, like I want a cigar. I'd be like, oh, I need a cigar, man.
The only thing that
But
I
it's
miss,
like when you say I need a cigar, it's not that I absolutely cannot go the day without having it.
when I haven't smoked a cigar in weeks, it's like I start to miss the aroma and the smell of like just grabbing a cigar and it's like,
yeah,
like before you even light it up, I miss that smell of the cigar.
Can you turn off that the bottom fan, dude? Please, because I think that's the one that's pushing the smoke back into our faces. So just shut that off, and then there you go.
Roger that.
Thanks, dude. This way we can get some of that.
I miss I guess the addictive part of cigars for me is like the ritual piece of it, whether it's the social aspect of it.
Social aspect is
the
like coming here.
Yeah, coming to the burn down, going to a party, sitting down with your boys, your dad, your uncles, whatever.
Billy's for the boys.
Billy's for the boys. And that's the addictive part, is like the social aspect you get from it. Whether you go to a cigar lounge or you go to someone's backyard or you go to a podcast studio. The social aspect for me is what the addictive part is, because it's you have at least an hour of downtime with someone that you like to hang out with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't say like, oh my God, I cannot get through the day without smoking a cigar, as opposed to where cigarettes are. That's what, but
right. So that's why I'm saying it's like I don't think I enjoy cigars, but I'm not addicted to cigars. Where it's I cannot get through the day without having a cigar.
Yeah.
Or I cannot get through the week.
And I can go
when I have like a stressful day, and I'm like, you know what, I would really enjoy a cigar right now. I don't think that's like an addiction.
And there's been more times than none. There's plenty of days where I don't even think about smoking a cigar.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
It's like sometimes you go throughout your day and it's like, oh, a week's gone by, I haven't even smoked a cigar.
Right.
And so not up in here. You're not gonna convince us that cigars.
What else you got? There's nothing else on the.
Did you just fucking yawn?
I did yawn, dude.
Jeez.
How can a fucking 1-month-old, man? Last night was not a good one.
Last night was a rough night.
Last night was a rough one.
Yeah, what happened? Let's talk about it.
It was just
sleep. No sleep, Sally.
No, it was a. So we went upstate to my buddies we brought Holden and we were just hanging out. That's why I sent you I showed you the video. We were watching the hockey game and just hanging out, and we came back. and so we fed Holden. We fed him like 11:30.
At night.
Yeah, we fed him like 8:30. Right, we're going to bed. He's hungry again 11:30. And then he was kind of being fussy from like 11:30 to 1:30, just like not. So we were not really.
Getting
And then I was like, all right, Mike. And Kelly she was like, she's like, I'm so tired. I'm not like, I need to sleep. She goes, I've been dealing with like he's just fussing and fussing all. She's like, I can't. I'm not even asleep for more than 15 minutes. So I was like, honey, I was like, let me get him. I'm gonna feed him again. Just go to sleep.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll do the 1:30 one. I was like, go to sleep. So I fed him. So we were up from like 11:30 to 1:30, and then to like 2:15. And I was like, honey, just sleep. I was like, go to sleep. So she was able to sleep from the 1:30 feeding all the way till like the 4:30, 5 o'clock feeding. But I was up from, I was up at 9:30, then I was up at 11:30, then I was up at 1:30, and then I woke up when she fed him at 4:30. So I was like, he was just kind of fussy from like 9:30 all the way till 2. So didn't really get much sleep. And then finally put him down. It was like 2:15-ish, whatever. And I'm like, all right, he's probably going to get up at 5 for another feeding. So I put him down. I was able to sleep for a few hours. But more importantly, Kelly I was like,
a little rested.
Yeah, you could tell she was like, fucking, I'm like over this. I need to sleep. So I was like, I'll do it. Like, go back to sleep. I'll take care of it.
Yeah, bro.
So I took him out of the room, brought him downstairs with me, fed him, and then I fed him. But it was just I was like, ugh, just a
long night.
It's a long night. It was
many more.
But some other nights he's fine. But that night, I guess he was just had an antsy night. He was gassy, and he was.
I don't think I've really ever seen you yawn before on the pod, so that's a first. I think. I could pretty confidently say that's a first. I've definitely yawned on the pod.
Yeah, dude.
But I've had some.
I'm also hungry. I kind of missed the lunch.
Yeah, I'm kind of hungry too. I ate around like 12 o'clock, 12:30, and now what time is it?
I missed
6:30. So
I missed a little lunch there.
Yeah, we're a little malnourished.
I don't even know, when did I eat? I ate. I missed a lunch, so I'm fucking starving, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, what about this? What about a misconception that that's actually not really a misconception, but we could talk about the nicotine sickness. So right now we're kind of smoking some heavy-duty cigars on empty stomachs. We could start getting some nicotine sickness due to our empty stomachs and our blood not really.
Yeah, so there is this is like fact or fiction, or just like, is this a myth? Cigar sickness? It's not a myth. Cigar sickness is a real thing.
Experienced it many times.
Cigar sickness can happen when you smoke too fast on an empty stomach. You can have food in your system too, but if you're like a new cigar smoker, it might happen.
Yeah.
But typically, what happens is if you don't have any food in your system, right? You don't have any drink in your and you smoke too fast, or you smoke a cigar, it's too strong for you. Typically, the strength, it's more the pace. If you smoke too fast, then you overload your system.
Yeah.
With nicotine, and if you don't have anything in your system, then it affects you more because you don't have any food in your system. It's just like drinking on an empty stomach. You get drunk quicker because you don't have any food in your system. So if you smoke too fast on an empty stomach, it'll affect you quicker. And then if it affects you too quick, you can get nauseous and lightheaded, and that's what we call cigar sickness.
Yeah.
If that happens to you,
you don't want that.
It will. It happens to the best of us. I've had it. Eric's had it.
Pound sugar.
Get some sugar. Can of Coke would help.
Yeah.
Get some food in your system, but a sugary drink.
I remember being in a lounge. My brother and my father came up to visit me when I lived in Connecticut, and I used to go to the Owl Shop in New Haven. It's like the oldest cigar lounge.
I know that one.
And pumped up, and I'm pretty sure I remember eating, but maybe I didn't. But I remember we got cigars. We went in the back, and we just started having a good time. I must have been smoking a cigar too fast because then my freaking world was spinning. Yep. I felt like complete dog crap.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm about to barf right now. Luckily, I didn't. But
I'm about to Ralph it.
It's like you get nauseous from like eating food, or like you get nauseous in other ways. But when you get nauseous from cigar smoke, I think it's way worse. Like you feel like shit.
You know why? It's because you start sweating too.
Oh my god, hell! And
Yeah.
we've had a few guests.
You get light. Yeah. You get lightheaded. You get. It's almost like you get. It's almost like when you have the chills. You know when you have the flu. And you have, like the chills, and you're like sweating, and you're like.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like. It passes. It will pass. You need to get some fresh air. Get some sugar in you.
Fill that stomach up.
Okay, like if get a slice of pizza or something. Like it's just like when you have a hangover. Okay, when you have a hangover, what do you go for? Go for some sugary. Go for something drink. Go for like some like a burger or something like that. But you got to fill your system. You got to get something in your system.
Got to feed the fire.
Can of Coke does wonders because it's loaded with sugar.
I think I you know what? I think I've even gotten tobacco sickness on the pod before. I mean, there's
happened.
A few times where we're sitting at the dinner table. I'm like, I feel like shit. We even had guests, maybe one or two guests.
I've gotten it where it's like I don't feel like I'm sick, but I feel a little lightheaded.
It sucks because like you're sitting down and you're like you just can't sit straight.
I know. Yeah. I've gone to Kel and I'm like, ooh, I feel like a little.
Just
lay like go get some fresh air, a couple big deep breaths of fresh like cold air, lay down, get some sugar and relax. Take a shower, lay down. Like
where I've gotten that experience before. I remember being in Scottsdale on my buddy's bachelor parties and we had Zins. I put a Zin on the top deck. I had a top decky Zin,
bruh,
right before dinner, and we're sitting in the booth, and all of a sudden my head is just like. I'm feeling like this, rocking back and forth. I'm like, whoa, I feel like shit. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to the bathroom, boys. I go in the bathroom, fucking taking a piss in the urinal, and I have like my hand up on the wall. I'm just like, holy fuck. And I'm just like rocking back and forth. My buddy comes in, he's like, bro, you all right? And I'm like, yeah. But there's a few times where I've had Zins. I forgot like the certain gram of nicotine that they have in. I forgot which level it is, but sometimes I start to get like,
yeah, dude,
lightheaded, and I'm like, I don't get this. I smoke cigars all the fucking time. How's this happening to me? But no one is invincible, my friend.
I'm trying to think of another myth. There was one more that.
Another one?
I had one.
Let's see here.
Like misconception or.
Let's see here. No, not cigarette myths. I want cigar myths. There's definitely more out there, right?
No,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we're about half an hour in, so.
Let's see here. Cigar myths.
And speaking of food, now that we said it, that's all I can think about is food.
I know, that's all I'm thinking about too. What about this one? Cutting torpedoes must be done at a slant to create a wider draw.
Okay, so that's another.
It says fact. Straight or an angle